before slowly starting, my name is Nicolai. I'm here to represent Kärten Hospitality. In this session, speaking a bit about how we try to rethink the space and how we are seeing ourselves as a bit of an innovator and disruptive operator in the market. We're a hotel operating company with a couple of brands, starting with the House Hotel, a 5-star boutique hotel brand currently operating and trading in Turkey, as well as Cloud 7, a mid-scale brand, more of a 3-star, 4-star, younger crowd type of hotel, in addition to a couple of other brands, adding to the potpourri of services that we can basically offer. So we are also operating a co-working brand called Our Space, as well as food and beverage brands. And the hotel side of things can also be adapted, basically adding service lines and making more of a service department. So a Cloud 7, the mid-scale brand, turns into more of a student apartment, co-working, co-living area type of project, and the House Hotel brand is can be turned into basically serviced villas, branded apartments in combination for rent and for sale. So going into, I'm going to share screen with you and start walking you through a bit of a presentation. Just a second. Good. Starting off, what we do when we are looking at projects is really going into any asset and any development, seeing what aspects will give the owners the upside in the long term, being less stress, more stress resistant, basically less seasonal than current hotel approaches in general. What we have here is basically an illustration of how we look at the project. So we go into any destinations, any cities, secondary, primary, tertiary locations, and see what brings most to the table. Rather than building a whole structure as a hotel, we like using the top floors, for example, redesigning and making it more of a destination bar, whether that is a fitness or pool area, etc., that kind of creates a buzz and an attraction. We like to combine certain floors and aspects with residences. I'll come back to this at a later stage. There are current projects in place where we have, for example, sold off part of the assets and are operating smaller hotel structures or service department structures within that complex to leverage and basically create more of a constant return on investment. We have the hotel side, of course, and then the lowest floors, or predominantly the lowest yielding floors, floor 1 and 2, is ideal for an office component, which we can throw in, basically managing and operating it all under one desk. A bit of an outlook of where we are and where we are heading. Over 4,000 keys under construction or in preparation or in plan. The next projects that are due to open are in Aqaba, Jordan, in Jeddah, Saudi. We are coming to Kuwait. We have several projects in Georgia. I will revert back to these shortly. In addition to that, obviously, the hotels operating in Turkey. Looking a bit into details of how we reinvent the space or how we rethink space for owners. We are speaking about a project in the wine regions of Georgia, where the owner has basically been part of Kärten for quite some while, really has believed in the type of work that we are doing and has started several projects with us in lovely Georgia. What comes out to play for us is really to see how can we satisfy the owner's needs, whether these are aspirational or really creating something unique for his country or the destination. This is where we are building basically a hotel infrastructure upon the dream of an owner wanting to have a gallery, a local feature that designs, that supports local designers and artists, etc., coming together in one of the most stunning spots, Kakheti, Georgia. In addition to that, we have our food and beverage, our chef, Michelin-starred chef, who is working with us, developing concepts unique to each location, trying to plug and play the space in order to create the best possible upside. So we have really a mentorship program to create also and make this into a leading resort in that country. We are playing with the wine region. We have our own vineyards. That was a big wish of the owners, combining that with the infrastructure, and in addition, obviously opening up to the full level of sustainability and green type of experiences in the country. On the bottom, you can see a little bit of the hotel infrastructure really sitting on a vineyard in the middle of the wine. We can play with this into any type of areas, and if I go on to the next page, it's just very difficult to bring it all onto really one aspect. But overall, the next upcoming projects, really, the House Hotel Jeddah, none of these have any similarities to each other than the fact that we went in to look at the most profitable mode of generating return in each of this location. The House Hotel Jeddah consists of over 100 rooms, has an space, which is more of a social aspect, so more of a family-oriented, a bit of co-working, etc., in addition to a plaza full of event and food and beverage space with 15 different outlets, all of that managed or facility managed under one roof, using the infrastructure of the hotel to sustain basically an upswing in the services offered all around. So this becomes a new place to be in Jeddah, really kind of going away from a hotel with 3 to 5 restaurants all under one roof. We are here trying to connect basically all of the areas and allowing for this to be more of a destination with a hotel to support that local community in the area. The House Hotel in Bomonti, I mentioned it briefly earlier, is a venture with 40 rooms and 100 apartments. The 100 apartments was sold off separately. Basically, the owners were able to therewith create the maximum output for themselves. We have been operating this hotel now for a good 2 years, currently due to the circumstances, obviously with some hiccups, but overall a really sustainable mode of operating a hotel, and quite new also to us before this kicked in. Tbilisi, the House Hotel, is another structure combining basically residences. Some of them will be sold off. There will be some for rent available as a long-serviced apartments. There is a good 1,500 square meters of co-working space. There is a fitness pool spa area. This creates kind of a new hip, I would like to say almost Melrose Place in Tbilisi, for a small exclusive kind of population to have their hub for basically all-day activities, work, and the possible overnight. So hotel infrastructure with residences, co-working, as well as social space. House Hotel in Tbilisi is really a small gem. This is a 17-room property, 5-star, very high-end in the middle of the old town of Tbilisi. And just to showcase the fact, we don't go in with a preconceived notion of wanting to make a hotel. Obviously, with 17 rooms capacity, we said this would be a real highlight product for the market and a real upcoming city. So we went in and really went the traditional way to only operate basically an hotel infrastructure with a big cafe that allows for local traffic to come in. In addition to that, Ataköy Marina Istanbul, that's a Cloud 7, the first one of its kind. It's a straightforward hotel infrastructure without F&B. We're outsourcing public areas basically to doing a room-only product, really feasible and suitable for that market and that location. In addition, a big highlight coming up next, opening still this year, is the Residences Ayla, the Cloud 7 residences in Aqaba, Jordan, a new development project in a marina with above 70 units being, are as good as ready to move in. We have obviously some works to be done still. The marina is yet to be fully complete, but also here we're going into Jordan, a secondary city, with a very courageous project saying there is a market for long-term demand here. There is a lot of domestic traffic, and it invites for smaller capacities with more flexibility and more usage for it in terms of corporate leisure, weekend trips, etc. So that is kind of a big a short overview of what we have in the pipeline. What we are seeing today is obviously, I think you've heard enough as well throughout the day. There is a lot of changes, lots of uncertainty. We don't see this uncertainty as constant, obviously, but we see the need to really adapt and state the hotel business or hospitality sector is still a good one to invest in. We're in it for the long run. We're not doing deals for the sake of 2 to 3 years. But we see that there is an option to play it a bit safe and think differently now, using more organic traffic to generate revenue streams and profit, rather than jumping in on the same scope of everyone and trying to fit into a seasonality and beating competition on that. So thinking of the assets independently and reviewing per market condition what may be feasible to you is really what we do on a daily basis. And we would love to get in touch and see where the next house hotels will be. Overall, that pretty much sums up. I know there is a couple of minutes for questions, etc. If there are some, I'd be happy to check them in the chat box. Yes, for now, that's it. Curtain Hospitality, as I said, you will be able to reach out to me also afterwards if there are any questions. Our pipeline or what we are seeing at the moment is really a big upswing in demand or uncertainty. There's more and more questions and interests in different operators. I think we are with quite a strong model able to provide a lot of solutions in one building that maybe leverages the risk and plays it a bit differently. Yes, as I said, a few more minutes we have, if there is anything. Hi.
Hi, Nicolai.
Am I handing over next?
If you would like to hand over, or if there are any questions. Oh no, there are questions.
I'm seeing that now. I don't see the questions now.
Are you only developing in the Middle East, or to Europe as well?
We are developing globally, I would say, but the Middle East has become our big breeding ground from the last couple of years. Overall, we see more and more interest now in Europe. And yeah, we are curious to see where this takes us. I think we are still a small company, so to say, or a smaller company. So we need to be careful also not spreading our resources too thin. So Middle East and Europe is our focus. Good.
Maybe one last question. How do you see the future for workspaces?
Great. Thank you, Simon.
You have 2 minutes.
Look, workspace is definitely changing. I think the nice thing about workspaces, it's not a big investment to revamp the space, right? So we're not doing concrete walls. We're not talking, these are usually, in the not shell and core plus, let's say. I think we can reschedule the layout quite easily. Currently, the models we're looking for are more into smaller private offices with more seclusions and less open kind of hot desks. But yeah, I think that trend may come back very quickly again. And if that's the need, then it's not a major investment taking down partition walls, etc., as it's not necessarily all soundproofed. Thank you for that. Thank you. Enjoy.
Thank you very much.
Bye-bye.
Bye.